All right, Cowboy Nation. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Boy, I tell you, it took me forever just to get this stream going. Must mean that I don't need to talk about it then, right? But I want to be able to talk to you all just briefly on the expectations of this 2019 draft class. I do know I hear a lot of people saying that, well, you got to count Amari Cooper into this 2019 draft class law. And I'm looking at it like nowhere in the history books that Amari Cooper is going to go down as a 2019 draft pick. He was a draft trade acquisition. He was an acquisition that was picked up for the Cowboys from the Raiders. So we can't just go back and forth and try to fit the narrative to make us look good. We got to call a spade a spade. We got to go down and look at the Dallas Cowboys draft class. Shout out to you, was it Goldbanger? Really appreciate you, man. All right, so first and foremost, Tristan Hill, he's not ready yet. Connor McGovern, he's on IR. Of course, we understand that. Tony Pollard, he's been utilized a few times. Not as much as what we want to see, but it is what it is. I love the fact that when he do get a chance to get out there and play, he give us a little spark. He does give us a little energy. And then on top of that, Michael Jackson, he's cut, he's gone. He's moonwalked up out of here, right? Also, when you think about Joe Jackson, he got 4 tackles. Where's number 56 for those who don't know? Joe Jackson, that's my guy. Hopefully, maybe next year. And then when you think about it, Donovan Wilson, he can't outperform Jeff Heath right now. Or the organization don't trust him enough to be out there on the field. And then on top of that, what I like from Donovan Wilson was more so of him playing at free safety opposed to a strong safety. So that could be a situation or a scenario there. And I think that the team trusts the Boise State guy, Darian Thompson, over Donovan Wilson. Although during training camp and preseason, we saw a lot more of Donovan Wilson opposed to Darian Thompson. But that's a story of a different day. Mike Weber, he's on the practice squad. We don't know what he's going to transition over to. Maybe, just maybe, if nobody pick him up, maybe he can show us something next year. And then we have Jalen Jones. He's on IR as well. So we got those things to look at as it relates to the draft pick. But expectations, when expectations meets reality, here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. When we start to look at this team from A to Z, we start talking about we need our draft pick. We want to have our draft picks. But here's the conundrum. You can't have the ability to go out there and get that explosive player if you don't marry up and match up some of these draft picks or package those draft picks together and to get the guy that you really need. Because what I'm looking at for right now, Cowboy Nation, is that, yeah, we're doing a good job of drafting, but I believe, this is just my philosophy, that we are holding on to the players just too long. We are. We are holding on to these guys a little bit too long. And then on top of that, we are afraid to pull the trigger for players that we know for sure is going to help out this team. Look at it at this, I guess I can say this. Look at it from these parameters. If you believe that we are 1 or 2 players away from getting the ultimate, Super Bowl, playoff, that type of talk on a consistent level, then I believe you got to figure out a way. Because holding on to a player is not going to do nothing more but harm you. We got to figure out ways to capitalize off of utilizing our resources and to push those resources up a little bit to help this team out along the way. Because what happened here is that all of a sudden we're saying that, hey, we needed that draft pick. We needed that 5th round draft pick. Now he's cut. He's gone. I'm talking about Michael Jackson. Or we needed that 6th round draft pick. We needed a 6th round draft pick. He's on the practice squad. You see? Or we needed that 7th round draft pick. We needed that 7th round draft pick. He's on injury reserve. You see how I'm going with this? We can go on and on and on about this. But if you know for sure you're trying to draft somebody to help aid a player situation, then that's the problem. You need to try to draft somebody that will replace that person. That needs to be the mindset. I'm drafting somebody to replace you. I don't want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to start saying that, hey, I'm gonna take out a 30-year mortgage, because no, that's not gonna happen. Not in my universe. Not if you playing for me. You're gonna be like, man, I'm until I get this contract, I'm like month to month. These guys are bringing the heat, and I gotta perform. Remember this: everybody have reasonings, but results are what matter. We can't just sit back and say, well, 2019 draft class is good because we have Amari Cooper. You got to look where the source came from. How did Amari Cooper arrive? He arrived because of poor drafting decisions. Because if we already had somebody before Amari Cooper, we wouldn't have to go out there and spend a first round draft pick for Amari Cooper. You see what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? If we would have utilized some resources to get rid of Dez Bryant at the time that Dez Bryant was highly doing his successful run, we would have had a wide receiver already into that place. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that not get rid of a guy while he in his prime and get nothing in return. Get rid of a guy while he's in his prime. If you know you're not going to settle your farm on him, get rid of the guy in his prime so you can get something back in return. We talk about return on investments. I'm not going to take my money out of my bank account and put it into something that's volatile. No. I got to look at the historical data. I'm talking analytics to you guys. You just don't go out there and say, well, this team was able to do it. No, where's the historics at? Where's your historical findings? Where's your historical data on this particular subject matter? See, this is the problem, what we are facing against. We get rid of players, or we hold on to players so long that they lose all of their remuneration. They lose all of their value, you see. And see, when they don't have the value, then we can't get nothing in return. Anthony Hitchens, we don't get nothing in return. We kept Orlando Scandrick for 10 years. Didn't get nothing in return. We held on to Mo Claiborne, and we got nothing in return. Brandon Carr, all of those boys, I do know that some of them was in contracts, and I don't have the information right in front of me, but I'm just telling you guys off the top of my dome that we collectively hold on to players too long. And we kind of gloss over the fact that we kind of sugarcoat it, and we'll say that, well, Amari Cooper, he was a 2019. He was our first round draft pick. It don't work that way. It don't. And I know a lot of people are in their feelings, but the truth hurts. You see, the truth hurts when somebody look in your face and say, yeah, you don't have the credit score. You can't buy this house. You can't buy it. You can't live here. You got a 520 credit score. You can't buy this house. That's the truth. But in actuality, you already knew it before you start filling out the paper, that you are not qualified for that particular purchase, what have you. And when we look at this team and we go say, well, we can't afford to use a first or a second or a third round draft pick. Well, since we're looking at that, what is our second round draft pick is doing today? Tristan Hill. Okay. What is he doing today? Will he be ready to play Monday night? Will he be ready to play in 2 weeks? Will he be ready to play in 3 weeks? Oh, he'll be ready to play next year. Are you trying to win now or are you trying to win next year? You think that we're going to have the longitude and latitude to wait for the dude to play next year? Don't you know that he don't have the experience from the guy that's going to be across from him next year? And he's going to go through some growing pains then? See, there's 4 moves in a trade or 4 moves in a draft. You draft the guy for best player available. You draft the guy for team needs. You draft the guy for this right here as it relates to this. I have to say this, to replace somebody, or you draft the person for development. So if Tristan Hill is for development and we don't have any other pieces that's going to be able to benefit us now, then that's a wasteful draft pick. You could have go ahead, especially if you're talking about windows of time, you thinking that this team have a 50-year window, then you below this earth right now. You see, if you look at the team and you say they have a 10-year window, come on, what are you thinking? If you say that this team have a 5-year window, no, football definitely don't work that way. But if you know for sure that this team had a 2 to 3 year window, then you have to maximize those opportunities and be able to be flexible enough that within those 2 to 3 years that you get enough playmakers to make you win games. Oh, Lord, do you have any historical data on that? Oh, yes, I do. The 2017 Eagles. I hate to bring them up, but they looked at it and said, hey, we have a young quarterback that we drafted and we invested in with a first-round draft pick. We need to have some weapons around him to make him comfortable. Oh, Alshon, let me pick you up. Oh, this defense, we need to pick up some guys in this defense to help them out, because we know for sure that if this team doesn't get turnovers and takeaways and make the field smaller or shorter for our guys, then it will not happen. Systematically, they start putting pieces in places. And then on top of that, if you really think about it, the front four was nasty. They went and got a veteran guy, Chris Long. They went and got him Bennett, because we got Bennett now. They said, okay, we're going to put the game in the hands, not of the quarterback, but in the legs of the running. They was like 3rd overall in rushing that year. And I've been telling everybody from A to Z that the best friend to any quarterback will always be the tight end. That's what they did. Oh, that's just them. No, they got that play from the same book that the New England Patriots did. You see? They went in. Look, it's so crazy that we can see it with our natural eyes, and then we won't feel it until it's after it's gone. Like Tupac said, you fear me in the physical form, let it be known I'm troublesome, right? Patriots did it. The Denver Broncos did it. They went and got it to lead. They said, okay, yeah, the Seattle Seahawks, they beat us down like that. We got an aging quarterback. We know for sure his window. Think about this, his window. It's not a 5, not a 10-year window. Hell, it's not even a 3, but we're going to get some guys now that's hungry enough to propel this team in order for us to win, so we won't look embarrassed out there like we did when we played against the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to go get some necessary investments. That's when they got some more defensive pieces around there. That's when they made some moves to get a certain running back or what have you, and some certain some offensive weapons too for your guy Peyton Manning, you see. And then to piggyback off of that, Patriots looked around and said, man, we got beat down by the Denver Broncos. What we going to do now is we're going to make sure we get our Revis. We're going to make sure we get a Talib or what have you whenever they went and did that. You got to make moves in order to win the Super Bowl. That's just the reality. But you have to also have escape hatches, so when everything come crumbling and falling, that you're not tied into a long-term contract with those guys. And these are just facts for me. Believe it or not, the LA Rams did the exact same thing. They just didn't capitalize. They just couldn't beat old Tom Brady. They went and got a suit. They went and got some defensive guys, right? They just couldn't capitalize. But that's the trend. That's the philosophy. And I can't lie to kick it. I just got to tell you guys the truth. If you want to be comfortable and you want to win your division, we are making those moves to do that. If you want to win maybe a playoff game, if you get into the wild card, we are making those moves to do that. But if you really want to win a Super Bowl, you saying how much is that? Oh, they want a first and a third? Oh, okay. We can't give them a first and a third. They're not backing off of that first and a third. How about this? We give them a first and a fourth and a conditional, meaning that if the player plays to this particular standard, then we'll move that fourth to a third. Oh, for a caveat, we'll throw in an Anthony Brown. Oh, we need Anthony Brown. We don't want to get rid of Anthony Brown. No, you throw in Anthony Brown. That's the caveat. That's a sweetener. Or you utilize some of the players that have been balling for you that you know for sure that you kind of like, that you don't want to put somebody ahead of them. We'll throw in, oh, that's not sweet enough for you? We'll throw in an Anthony Brown and a Jeff Heath. Oh, man, Jeff Heath is not. Think about this. He can make kicks. He's good on special teams. That's what I'm talking about, willing and dealing. Cowboys, we don't do that. We say that, man, you know what? We be mad as all get out if we get rid of Jeff Heath right now. And I love Jeff Heath. Talk to the man personally. I think that he's a wonderful guy. We don't want to see him go, yeah. But that's the cost of doing business. Or for a sweetener, we'll throw in this guy, Anthony Brown. If this is the thing, we just now started using Jordan Lewis. And we know for sure that Jordan Lewis is one of our best cover corners. But what sense will it make if you're not planning on using him until somebody is injured? Then why don't you capitalize off of that? Play to your strengths. I've seen teams do it all the time. I done seen a team get rid of what was that guy? the Chandler Jones. If Chandler Jones played for the Dallas Cowboys, they'll make a statue in his name outside. They would never got rid of that production, his ability to create all those sacks and pressure. I think that since 2000 and what 15, 16, whatever he was drafted in, I didn't think he was drafted in 15 or 14. Could be one of those years. There's no other player that got more sacks than him. Patriots said, you know what? Bye, Felicia. Let me use these draft picks that we're going to get from us. We're going to get from this deal, and will and deal. Law, what are you talking about? You're talking nonsense, Law. I'm talking facts, man. These teams that's going to look. Here's the thing. Before I wrap this thing up, because I tried to do this video a couple of minutes ago. Here's the thing. Before I go, he was drafted in 2012. Really appreciate it. But since then, there's no other. I think I can say this, and somebody else can back me up. I think it's either him or Von Miller. There's nobody else got more sacks than him since 2012. It's total numbers, not individual numbers. But here's the thing. Really appreciate you for the information for the nation. I want to be able to say this before I rock and roll. We have to push the envelope. I love this team from the womb to the tomb. I go to the grave. I tell people all the time, family members, if I don't have a star above my tombstone, I'm coming out of the grave. I'm hunting you. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the hunting. I'm gonna hunt your house, basically. We love this team, but at the same time, is this 2019 team, do we have the ability to win a Super Bowl? Yes, we do. Now, in order for us to win the Super Bowl, everybody got to be healthy. I don't see us making any type of necessary adjustments if somebody goes down. That's just me. But if everybody stay healthy, then we have a strong chance. We have an opportunity. But we just got to look at it from this aspect of it. This team, we must play poise. We still got to take it one day at a time. And even though this 2019 draft class, outside of an Amari Cooper and outside of Tony Pollard looking like it's crass right now, right? Not trash, but crass. It look kind of like, it's iffy, suspect. We'll see. But we will have to really look at it from this aspect of it. You got to take the risk. Scared money make no money. Like I said, it was a movie the other night that I saw on Netflix, Dolomite. The dude took risk to be successful. The dude said he betted on himself. He said, you know what? I want to be able to put my picture on the TV screens across the world. He said, look, man, you don't have the money. He said, if you give me the money, I'll make it happen, basically. I'm just paraphrasing. I want to spoil a movie for you all. Watch it on Netflix. But I love that because we look at it and we say to ourselves, this person is too much draft capital to get rid of this person. Too much draft capital to get rid of that person. Because right now, when I turn on my TV screen, I don't see a Taco Charlton in the building, right? We don't see a Tristan Hill playing, right? We don't even see a Randy Gregory out there of the worlds, right? We can go back, and just as much as I say about the pitfalls, we do have some success. I'm not saying that we are just totally trash in that category, but what I'm saying is that on the back end, we need to improve, not a little bit, a lot of it. You see, we need to figure out how to will and deal. All right, my time has expired, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. It's okay to have different thoughts and different opinions of what I'm saying. I'm not the guy that's calling the plays. I'm not the guy reaching into my pockets and paying these players. I'm not that guy, and I won't be that guy. But what I'm saying is just giving you guys my thoughts, my opinions, and how I feel where this team is headed. I'm thinking that this team can still win our division. I think so. I really do. We have the skill set and we have the talent to win our division. But my only reservation come, and I have a right to have this reservation until I can see with my natural eyes that we dominate a team that thinks with poise, a team that thinks with strategy, a team that's not afraid to punch us in the mouth. Until that happens, I'm going to sit there and say, man, I'm going to have my reservations on it. I can't lie to kick it. You know, I'm not going to take a Honda. I'm not going to take a Prius out there on a drag strip and start to race it against a car that I know is going to lose to. I'm not saying that the car can't win. There can be some circumstances that allow your car to win. But what I'm saying is that these are just my opinions. But what I can look at is when we get to the playoff time, if we continue to play the way we've been playing, we will not win nothing. It'll be a first round bye to the house. It will be, we get to all the way to this point. We get to the Super Bowl and we go back to how we lost to the Jets. I don't want to have that feeling. That's a worse. Look, everybody's saying, look, Law, it would be nice to go to the Super Bowl. You should be just happy to go to the Super Bowl. I do not want to go to the Super Bowl and be like the Atlanta Falcons. I would rather for the Atlanta, if it was me, I'd rather for not even go to the Super Bowl if we're going to show up to the Super Bowl and have a performance like the Atlanta Falcons did against the Patriots. I wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that. A lot of people feel like they want that, but you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want to go all the way to the Super Bowl to lose. You want to go all the way to win. That's just me. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Still trust this team. It's just that I just don't feel like we're going to just dominate our opponents. Maybe they could change my mind. Maybe they can.